Namaste. Queen Yoga Bee here. Thank you for coming to my channel. Remember that if you subscribe, it will help me a lot to stay motivated. This lesson today is protecting your knees in Sleeping Swan. Really easy. It's a Stretchy Bee class, which means you're going to be holding the pose anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes. So you will need a timer. But it's totally up to you if you don't want to hold it that long. I'm going to suggest that you do 3 rounds of Sleeping Swan. That's 3 rounds on each leg, and with a counter pose in between it that I call windshield wiper. So anyway, your breath is going to be Ujjayi breath. So just a review of that. It sounds like ocean waves. You're going to inhale and exhale through your nose, as slow and steady and mindful as possible, just listening to the sound. So here we go. It's pretty easy. Sleeping Swan. So Sleeping Swan, I'm a great one for trying to protect my knees, because in Sleeping Swan, if you have really tight hips, it's going to affect your knee, and you don't want to hurt your knee. You want to stretch your hips. So what you can do is take a block. First thing, to get into Sleeping Swan, you're going to try and make your shin parallel to the front of your mat. So I get my leg parallel, then I sit on a block, then I readjust. So it totally depends on how stretchy your hips are. You can have your back leg on its side with your foot turned out. It makes it less intense. It just depends. So I'm going to try and make my back foot flat, keeping this parallel. And now all I'm going to do is go down as far as I can. So again, I have really, really tight hips. So you're going to hold this pose, setting your timer, and holding it anywhere up to 10 minutes. So your counter pose, I'm going to show you from the other direction. So your counter pose is a pose that I call windshield wiper. A lot of people call it windshield wiper. So your feet are as wide as your mat and your knees are together, which is a resting pose. But we're going to turn it into a movement. So it's going to go from side to side. So this is a great way to concentrate on your Ujjayi breath. I like to inhale when my knees are up, exhale when my knees go to the side. And you can do as much of this counter pose as you possibly want. It's totally up to you. At least a minute is what I would recommend. So remember, to do this Sleeping Swan pose, first you're going to get your shin, or the lower part of your leg, parallel with the front of the mat, the top of your mat. You're going to use your block to be underneath your hip, your bum. You might want to readjust. You're going to check your back knee. Try to make your leg flat so that your knee is completely down and your top of your foot is square on the top, pressing down into the mat. So from here, set your timer and just go as far forward as you can. So maybe this is it. Maybe you're stuck right here. It's perfectly okay to spend your minute or your 3 minutes or your 10 minutes right here. Remember, your body is going to tell you. You don't want to push yourself over the edge. So gradually work into it and stay there as long as you possibly can. This is not going to be comfortable. It's not supposed to be comfortable. When you do Stretchy Bee movements and you hold these sustained stretches anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes, you're sculpting your body. What you're doing is stressing the joints, which is a good thing, and you're stretching your muscles. So if you want longer muscles and more flexibility and better range of motion, I suggest that you do this, a Stretchy Bee class, every single day. So you've done your 3 rounds. And now it's time for Savasana. I also recommend that at the end of your Stretchy Bee class, you take a nice long Savasana. You can be in a restorative pose. If you forgot what the restorative pose I suggested looks like, you can go to my restorative class lesson. Or you can just lay flat on your back. Remember that when you're in this Savasana, you're just resting, hands, palms up. Feet can be soft, a little bit turned out, about as wide as your hips. If you need to have something underneath your head, no problem. I would suggest that you set your timer and pay attention to your breath for at least 10 minutes. Anyway, thank you very much. I know this was a really short and sweet class, but if you do it 3 times, 3 rounds at 10 minutes each, you pretty much have done a whole class. So thank you very much. Remember to subscribe if you can. I appreciate it. Namaste.